Let me catch up here of where we were. So I had been talking about the rise of the automobile industry, jobs making cars, supplying the car manufacturers with tires, glass, rubber, that kind of thing, steel. Talked about new jobs in construction making roads, and then the need for service stations to sell cars, to service cars, to repair cars, to sell gas, that sort of thing. These are all relatively new industries, and there's a lot of growth in these. Okay, all right. So I had you on a imaginary road trip in your new Chevrolet, heading down to see grandmother, and you've driven down the road, you've stopped, you've refilled the car, you're driving down the road again, but now it's getting late. It's getting early evening, maybe starting to get a little bit dark, and you're starting to feel a little bit what? Hungry. Yeah, so maybe you want to find a restaurant or a diner, someplace you can stop and have a meal. And, so you'll start seeing restaurants crop up alongside the roads. And then maybe you drive a little bit farther, but now your eyes are getting heavy and the roads are rather dark. And you decide you need somewhere to rest. And so what are you looking for? A motel. Okay, now, hotels exist for years. Usually hotels are like in the downtown business district. Sometimes, like in Dallas, it would be a high rise. Okay, and of course, there's been inns, back to the stagecoach days. But now there's a whole industry of not hotels, but motels where you pull the car right up to the door of your room and you unload your suitcases and carry them right in. Motels are a relatively new phenomenon. There's a 1920s type thing. Okay? Nowadays, the trend has been back more towards hotels with a limited number of access points, and you go down a central corridor into the rooms. But you still see the older style motels along the highways. Often they're older. For security reasons, though, a lot of places now have a central lobby. You go in and walk down the hall. But, you see the older style ones all along the interstates. You can pull right up. So once again, there's jobs running these motels, and of course, building these motels. Okay? And so you head on down the road, and there's places to eat, there's places to stay, there's places to get your car serviced, a whole lot of things crop up around the whole automobile industry. And then tourist traps. You're driving 10 hours out of state. Halfway through, the kids are like getting bored out of their mind, and oh look, there's a roadside attraction we can stop at for a few minutes. Ooh, it's a snake farm. You can see the reptiles. Okay? It changes the way people travel. Remember, this is an era. People have mostly traveled in trains, and trains only go where the tracks go. But now with the automobiles, you can go just about anywhere where there's a road. Okay? So all of this, just imagine how this all snowballs into a whole new industry and a whole new way of traveling in America. Now here's what I'm going to try to tie this in with today. Oh, how is history relevant to what's going on today? People ask me all the time. Okay? And one semester, someone put in the evaluations, boy, we sure talked about cars a lot. Well, here's one reason why I still like to talk about cars. I'm trying to get you to think about the bigger infrastructure involved about this kind of thing. And think about some stuff that's going on like today. There are people who are very much down on the internal combustion engine, that's gasoline-powered automobiles. There's talk, well, we need electric cars. Okay? Now, I've got nothing against electric cars. Electric cars, good idea. Don't mind seeing more of them on the road. I've got nothing against electric cars, don't get me wrong. But I want you to think about the repercussions not but the things that go along with this. So there's people now saying, oh, well, you know what? We need to get rid of gasoline-powered cars and just switch to electric cars. It'll be great. It'll solve the cuts down on smog, global warming, blah, 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 blah. Okay, but none of this is necessarily a bad idea, don't get me wrong. But there's more to it than just that. Okay? So, for instance, let's say tomorrow, just hypothetically, benevolent aliens from another galaxy came to Earth and replaced all of our gasoline cars with electric cars. You just go out in the morning and your Chevrolet is gone and there's a Tesla. You're like, sweet, I got an electric car. But here's things to think about. Right? Now, my in-laws live about a 5-hour drive from our house. So we go down to see them for Thanksgiving or Easter or Christmas or whatever. I can get all the way from where I live to their house on a tank of gas. Would I be able to drive 5-6 hours on an electric car? As currently what's available, probably not. Okay? I'd have to stop and charge. Now here's the difference. Let's say I'm driving a gas guzzler, okay, and our car will make it all the way to the in-laws' house on one tank of gas, but some cars won't. Okay? Let's say I'm driving down to see them in an older car, doesn't get as good a mileage. Halfway down, I need some gas. I pull into the gas station, I pump in the gas, the tank is filled in 5 minutes, I'm on my way. My electric car, my battery runs out halfway there. What do? Well, I can, if I'm in Corsicana, I can go to the Collins Street Bakery where they make the fruitcakes. There's a Tesla charging station right there. I can plug in my electric car, that's a Tesla, and have that sucker charged in about an hour. And then go on. What has that just done to my drive, though? It's increased it from 5 hours to 6 hours. I'm stuck at the bakery eating fruitcake. Right? So, that could be a drawback. Right? But maybe you're not driving 5 hours, you're just putting around town. You're happy with your electric car. Here's some things I want you to think about. Okay? Let's say everybody gets an electric car. Tonight, everybody takes them home, puts them into the garage, plugs them into the power, and start charging them up. Is the power grid sufficient to simultaneously charge every electric car in the county? Is there enough electrical generating capacity? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. Maybe there is. Maybe there's not. Maybe we'll have to build a couple more electric plants to meet with the increased demand. What do these electrical plants run off of? Coal? There's a fossil fuel. Coal's kind of dirty. But how about natural gas? Nice, clean. We got plenty of it. It's still considered, a fossil fuel that you're generating heat. Hydroelectric dams, those don't work very well in Texas. We don't have enough mountains and rivers to build dams. Okay? Wind farms out east, out west. Well, that's okay, except the wind's way out west. We're here in Dallas. We need to build high transmission lines to carry the power from the west back to here. And what do you do when there's no wind? Or solar. And what do you do on a cloudy day? So all these problems can be solved, okay, I'm sure, with enough time, effort, and technology, and probably throwing some money at it too. But it's not just an overnight thing, okay? And here's another thing to think about. I tell you to think about the unintended consequences, okay? We build all these electric cars. They all run on a battery. Eventually, the battery has to be replaced and wears out. What are those batteries made out of? Lead cadmium? There's different kinds of batteries. A lot of them use heavy metal. Okay? Are they considered hazardous waste? Yeah, probably are. And so now you've magically replaced all these gasoline cars with electric cars, but now you've created a new problem. Maybe you've gotten rid of carbon pollution out of the tailpipe, but now you've got heavy metal pollution from these batteries. Well, now the batteries have to be recycled. Okay? But there's still going to be some waste, some stuff you can't get rid of. What do you do with all of that? So once again, you have to think out of a couple of further steps. Well, you can probably do some recycling. There's ways you can do this. But it's not just a simple matter of replacing all the cars. Okay? So, here's the deal. I'm trying to get you to become smart, thinking individuals. Okay? Somebody can come out with a very easy, simple-sounding solution and say, hey, let's just go to electric cars. And you know what? We'll build charging systems everywhere. But you still got to think to the next step. Where are you going to get the electricity? How are you going to generate the electricity? How do you get the electricity from where it's generated, where the charging station is? How do you deal with the hazardous waste generated by the batteries? So it's a lot more complex than people might make it appear on the surface. It's not just a simple matter of replacing the gasoline cars with electric cars. So I predict to you that the gasoline-powered vehicle will be with us for the foreseeable future. And we may transition to more and more electric cars over time, and then there's hybrids, which are kind of a mix of both. Which means now you have the worst of both worlds. You still got to dispose of the batteries, and you still burn gasoline too. Right? So I'm not dissing electric cars. I'm not saying they won't continue to improve, but be careful when people offer you very, very simplistic solutions to very, very complex problems. Because honestly, most people don't think to step 2 or 3 or 4. They just think to step 1 and they stop. Okay? Yeah. I know it's kind of the tirade here. It's getting up on my soapbox, but the things I want you to think about. And I'm going to continue this in a moment after I save this slide. No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go for it. Let's see if I can fit this thing in before I cut off. All right, electric cars. Okay, how about fuel cell cars? We'll make those and run off of hydrogen. Okay, most prevalent element in the universe, hydrogen. Okay, you build these things and run off hydrogen. You know what you need? If you buy one, you need a hydrogen fueling station. How many hydrogen fueling stations are in town? None. Why not? Nobody's got a hydrogen car. There's no demand for hydrogen fueling stations. You go to buy a hydrogen car. They're experimenting with these. They're available in California. Okay? But where do you get the hydrogen? You see the problem? No one wants to buy the new technology if there's not the infrastructure to support it. But there's very little incentive to build the infrastructure if nobody has the technology. Why should I build a hydrogen fueling station if there's only 2 people in town who have a hydrogen-fueled car? On the other hand, why should I buy a hydrogen-fueled car if there's nowhere in town to get the hydrogen other than at the dealer? You see how these things will lock together? At some point, there'll have to be some forward-thinking individuals who open hydrogen fueling stations or start building hydrogen-fueled cars, knowing they won't make any money for a while. Okay? It's got to be a long-term outlook. Okay? So this is what I want you to think about. I want you to think about the infrastructure, about the support systems that go with a lot of these technologies, and why they're not as easy to replace as some people might just suggest. Flippantly, oh, well, we'll just get rid of gas cars, replace them with electric. It's a lot. Life in this world is a lot more complicated than a lot of people think about. Okay? Are you sick of cars? Yeah, let's go to another technology. No, wait, hang on. I talked about going down the road, stopping at the motel or the hotel or the diner. What's your favorite road? What's the road that you're going to drive on? How about this one? It's an American icon. We don't do enough pop culture in this class. How about Route 66? America's main highway, Chicago to Los Angeles, goes through Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Okay? The U.S. highway. Right? Goes right through the middle of the town. Stoplights. Okay, don't speed. It's different than traveling on the interstate today. Okay? If you've seen the movie Cars, this is what, 15 years old, I guess, by now. Maybe you saw it as a kid. Cars. Cars isn't just a comedy. It's a gripping documentary about what happens when the interstate comes and bypasses your little town of Radiator Springs, which means starts to wither and die from the lack of traffic. Okay? But Route 66 is an American pop culture icon. It's probably the book. All right, let's wrap this slide up. We'll see if it'll fit on YouTube, and we'll go on to another technology here in just a minute.